Would like to wish Kim Iverson a happy 27th birthday today. She has been another voice on this platform that has spoken the truth and paid the price for it. It's a very difficult thing to see reality and report on reality and then be demonized and chastised for simply reporting what you're seeing with your own eyes. So go over to her channel. I think she's going to have some type of a birthday thing later on. But she is one of the good ones, one of those you can trust. Now, I was going to do a video last night about something that was revealed, and it was from one of the big spokespeople of, I guess, whatever you want to call it, the planned event. And what this person said made me incredibly, incredibly angry. Because what this person said pretty much completely vindicated myself, Kim Iverson, Jennifer Veterans for Truth, and a few others. A long time ago, when this first started, we all were basically saying what they're doing doesn't make any sense. What they're doing isn't sustainable, and it's not going to fix anything. The numbers don't justify it. And we were castigated, we were reported en masse here on YouTube and other platforms for being dangerous and not helpful, and people said we needed to be shut up. Now, who is the person I'm talking about that said this? Believe it or not, Mr. Andrew Cuomo himself. This is him talking to his brother. Now, this is a clip from yesterday morning. Actually, I think it was, yes, it was yesterday sometime. I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not sure that many people know this, that the governor of New York and his brother, that this guy from CNN is his brother, basically. So without any further delay, this is 1:30 into the clip. At about the 2-minute and 20-second mark, I want you to listen to what he says.
But, Christopher, there is an art form here, which is overlaying a public health strategy and an economic strategy. In other words, what we did is we just closed everything down as quickly as we could. Just shut all the doors, border all the windows. There was no art to what we did. There was no nuance. Is there a public health strategy that says, look, you can start to bring young people back to work? You can start to test and find out who had the virus and who resolved from the virus, and they can start to go back to work. And that's how we'll restart the economy, with a smart public health strategy. Because closing the door on everyone was only because we didn't know better, right? If you now look at it, it didn't make any sense to close the schools, send my kids home with me, or older people or with grandmothers who were vulnerable to this virus, and young people were then maybe bringing it into the house.
Didn't make any sense. What we did didn't make any sense. Now he says, because we didn't know better. I'm sorry, because you didn't know any better. Believe it or not, Mr. Cuomo, there are people out there who have leadership experience, who have the ability to look at situations and react differently than you did. Remember all the demonization of the kids on the beach? Well, now it turns out locking up everybody in their houses wasn't a great idea. In fact, it exacerbated the problem. And now, in another clip, wish I would have brought it up, there is evidence that 40%, up to 40% of the cases around the country are a direct result of people fleeing New York and taking it with them because of their draconian measures and infecting other regions. New Orleans being number one. This man just said what we did 3 weeks ago made no sense. When I said that, when Kim Iverson said that, when Jennifer Veterans for Truth said that, and other channels said that, we were dangerous. We needed to be deplatformed. We needed to be silenced. When we said that. But because now he says it, 3 weeks later, in hindsight, nobody's going to say shit about it. And yeah, I'm angry. I'm very angry. Because it's a tough thing to do this for a living. And no, you're right. No, you're correct. Looking at the facts over and over and over again, and then have a bunch of ignorant, foolish, selfish, self-involved trolls come to your channel in mass and report you for putting out lies or content that is dangerous or harmful. Even though to this day, 99.9999% of the population has not been affected. 99.9999% of the world population has not been affected. And we said, kicking kids off the beach isn't going to fix the problem. It's going to make it worse. Why? For the same reason they said you didn't want to have a bunch of people crowded together tightly in a bar. All they're doing is changing the bar for their apartment. And this goes to another level of narcissism that comes out of guys like Cuomo and all sorts of others, not picking on him specifically. When you have millionaires and billionaires running your country, they can't conceive of 6 people in a 2,000 square foot home. Or 4 people in a 1,200 square foot apartment, and then an entire building full of those, all sharing the same air. All sharing the same air. And how that was more than likely going to exacerbate the problem. And it did, and now they're seeing it. It's just, I can't even sometimes. Seriously, I had to hop on the treadmill last night and do about 2 hours. I was so angry. And oh, by the way, well done, Mr. President. Seriously, I know that a lot of people have taken issue with my problems with the guy. When he does something right, I'm gonna make a big deal out of it. Because you know what he did right? The people in Rhode Island, the state police in Rhode Island, are pulling over anybody with New York plates. Good. Fan-fucking-tastic. Same thing's going on in South Carolina and here in Florida. And this is something that our governor, another well done to him too, Mr. DeSantis, anybody coming down here, they're going to cuff them and stuff them. You lived in New York, that's your choice. I'm a big states' rights guy. Now, here's the caveat. If you are a Florida resident and you have property in Florida, you pay taxes in Florida, and you have your ID in Florida, and you just so happen to be in New York for business or whatever, I'm not imagining that you would have a car with New York plates, but please come back home. Don't plan on leaving anytime soon and going back to New York. But well done cuffing and stuffing those people. They should have one facility, New Yorkers only. And that's where they should put them. Because this was their stupidity. This is going to be, once again, like I said before, a New York/DC problem that now becomes the country's problem. Their stupidity, their draconian measures, of their own admission now. We just heard Their state governors say what we did made no sense and probably made it worse. Because of those stupid draconian measures. Maybe if they had encouraged people, go to the beach. In fact, the governor did. When this first started, the governor of New York lifted all of the fees to all of the parks in New York. Why? He wanted to encourage people. Go to the park. Go outside. Get some fresh air. He initially did that. That was a good move. But then, of course, the idiots over at CNN that wanted to make this worse, that still want to make this worse, that wishes probably more people were dead, that wishes probably more people were sick, and that this could last for another 6 months so that they can use it to leverage an election. They don't care. They don't care. Everybody should have been going to the beach, getting out, spreading out, getting some good, fresh, sunny air, going for a swim, getting some exercise, going for a jog, walking the dog, rollerblading, even if that was what you wanted to, This is ridiculous at this point. And this is what I want to leave with. I went to the store earlier this morning. Would like to share some photos. Yep. There you go. Where are the big shortages? There were some empty spots for sure. This is the bread aisle. And this was like 10:30 this morning, Eastern time. And let me ask you this question. If there were truly food shortages or upcoming food shortages, why would there be sales? Why would there be BOGOs? And let me ask you another question. All of the things that are still open, like McDonald's, like all of the restaurants in St. Augustine, all of these places say, you can come and you can get carry out or you can get delivery, right? Okay, for a restaurant to run, for a restaurant to open, and let me see if I can find an appropriate picture or something to go with this. There has to be all sorts of infrastructure that's running. For example, if you're going to be doing carry out and delivery for a restaurant, let's say in St. Augustine, for example, who is making the styrofoam containers? Who is making the plastic bag that the styrofoam containers are being shipped to you in, or the cardboard box? Who's making the number 10 can of yummy, yummy mushrooms that has the label on it? Who's making the ink for that label? Or who's driving the truck that is shipping all of that stuff? None of the infrastructure that supports the operation of retail is suffering, allegedly. Yet, supposedly, we're in, apocalypse now. The end of time. Millions and millions, stacked like cordwood. Really? Really? That's the case, huh? How could you even get delivery from restaurants? I know this is a lot of whataboutism, but what about the trash that's still running? What about all of these places that are still open, pharmacies? Who do you think's stocking the shelves? And go back up the supply chain. All of the places that supply all of the things, and then all of their suppliers. They have to be up and running, right? They have to be doing business as normal. If you're buying something and it's in a box, think of all of the things that had to occur for you to get that thing. The maker of the box, the maker of the ink, the printer who printed it, the plastic seal inside, the person who delivered it, the person who stocked it. Seriously. Wake the F up. All of you out there right now, all of you little trolls. with your disgusting little government worshiping hearts need to really think long term about the damage that you're doing to liberty in this country. And I'm sorry if some of you are the useless eater types, 650 pounds, laying in bed, and your only world exists online, and people keep delivering you food to shovel down your gullet. And you hate life so much that you need to lash out at everyone. Who are the vast majority of these trolls? You are everything that's wrong with the world. So I will just leave it there. Like, share, subscribe.